To America! Welcome to the Tong, where our loyalty lies only with warrior, and they will scrap only if I give them the order. And you feeling itchy, you got something to say? Just know we hop this way. Nobody else is suited for this other than us. I know it's crazy, but we work with it and don't give up. Welcome to the show. If you don't know the name, we call it Hop This Way.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen and fellow onions out there. How is everybody today? Wait, can I call myself an onion? Have we gone over this yet? Because we should have went that in, season 1, right? Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for that great open, I guess. It's your boy Zeus here, joined by my fellow Tong. Of course, we've got Money Matt Chua here, and of course, right beside him there, the one, the only, the fabulous Miss Stephanie Young. How are you, Pratt? And then, of course, the professor down below, Frank Zhang. And then, after missing last week and feeling much better, we see and happy to have her back, the one, the only Miss Rebecca Nishi. How are you, Rebecca?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Tong. How is everybody?
What's up?
Fine.
Excellent.
Hello.
Oh, you, Derek, with the fun little
with
photo.
a new picture.
Look at
Loving
that.
the photo. And,
Wow, look at the upgrade.
and thank you so much, Derek, for tuning in on YouTube. That's why it's a different photo there. Look at that. And
How
folks,
fancy you are on YouTube. I see what we're doing.
and I love that. Thank you. As we say every week, if you can, the best way to follow and support the show is on the Hop This Way show on YouTube. Follow the banner right there below us. And get a little LA night there. But we'll save that for the other podcast. Guys, Clay, how are you?
Oh, thank you, Clay. Appreciate it.
Clay Wilson, one of the best independent pro wrestlers in Canada.
Oh, wow.
A great heel, and I got to tell you, a guy who could really make the transition into acting, and I would love to see him in an episode of Warrior. I'm not even joking. I'm not just putting you up there because
Damn, Clay, look at the praise you got from us. Holy shit.
Look at that. Oh, Clay's one of my faves. So speaking of faves, this is our favorite show. That's why we come together each and every week to talk about this. The little show that could, the little show that survived not only Cinemax, but it got picked up by Max, and then it gets picked up for the third season. And then finally, we get 3 episodes dropped last week, and it felt like we didn't miss any time at all. What did you guys think about episode 4, though, in Chinatown? No One Thinks About Forever. Is everything still holding up? And I'm going to put this right out to you first, Matt.
Oh, man. That was a little hard to watch. I'm not going to lie. That one was a real rough one from beginning to end. There was no there was no slowing down on this episode. No rests, no pauses, no nothing. They just wanted to straight go to my heart, rip that shit out, stomp on it, and be like, "Oh, you're sad, right? Nah, don't worry, we got you." And then let's just F it up some more. So it was pretty rough to watch.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster. Steph, do you concur there, or what were your thoughts on this episode?
Oh, please. I did an Instagram live. Look at my hair. Did an Instagram live saying, triggered much? Excuse me. Right from the beginning. I have plenty to say about this episode. Yes, I was very, very triggered. It hit home.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Frank, what about you? What did you think of this episode?
I was pretty impressed. They did not slow down the intensity, even though there were only really 2 action moments. So it's getting bigger. The universe is getting bigger. The previous big villains feel like pawns now. So I'm very curious to see where the last 6 episodes takes us.
That is a good way to put it too. The previous villains are now pawns. Wow. Becca, we didn't get your thoughts from last week, but what did you think of this episode and the show so far in season 3?
Well, I'm very happy with the new cast. Great actors, great characters, new characters. I'm enjoying a lot. And this episode 4, I'm going to talk about something different from the plot. I was very impressed with the directing of Dean Tai,
Oh,
the
Yes.
photography, the camera takes. I've seen some different movements of the camera on the fight scenes. So I mean, different from what we have seen before in this series. You know, the way he filmed and edited the fight scenes, and I haven't watched yet another show that he directed one episode, American Born Chinese. So I'm very looking forward to watch it now because of this episode. So yeah.
awesome. So it sounds like you're loving the ride so far, and like we all do. That's why we come out each week. Let's dive right into it, though. My lord, last week episode 3 ended with that huge fire at Nellie Davenport's place, and I mean, picked up right where they left off, and this was an emotional start. And Matt, you talked about this, about the emotional roller coaster this episode was, and I mean, this one didn't start off with a high emotional one, but more low, I guess. Was it? Did you feel a low, or was it something else?
I mean, to be fair, the entire mood that I had after the closing moments of last week's episode legitimately carried over to the beginning of this one. There wasn't like a low point. It was just a continuation of the amount of frustration, and then to see the aftermath of it, and then that conversation between Davenport and Atoy, and how gut-wrenching that was, because you have Davenport who's like, shit, I was trying to do good. I was trying to save him. It's fine. And then Atoy is just saying, it's not good enough though. And you didn't help. We get that you tried, but you can't enjoy and be happy when you're dead, or however that line went. And I was just, that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty emotionally tearing, at least for me. What did you think, Steph? I'm sure you got some thoughts on the opening sequence here.
Well, this is definitely part of the reason why, for me, Atoy is, I'm jumping right into it. She's my MVP because you can see survival mode. So her decision making in those moments, and no, it's shifting to nope, time to regroup. This is reality check. And she had to make some difficult decisions.
Yeah,
so she's my MVP.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, Frank.
It makes you think about what these characters would be if they didn't have to worry about survival day in and day out, right? Because when Atoy makes that quote, that's the title of the episode. In Chinatown, no one thinks about tomorrow, only today. No one thinks about forever, only today, maybe tomorrow. And when she does that stair descent, you can see that you can see her transformation, because those stairs are her stage, right? And the audience in the brothel, that's the audience that gives her money, that's the audience that gives her respect. And you can see her transition back into that when she's putting on the makeup, when she's right before Assam said you should take a couple of days off. You see her grimace for a second, but then she puts it on quick. She puts it away quickly. And then she says, do you have any idea how long it took to put this dress on? It kind of makes you wonder, so this is survival Atoy.
Right.
So no
Why do you think?
was her trying to live her life.
Man,
it was cool to see that. I'm sorry, but it was cool. He did point out a thing as she went down each step. That was the descent back to her original character at the very end, and then the smile came on. The showmanship, it was instant. At the
I'm
very
not gonna
bottom of the
lie.
steps.
I'm not gonna lie. I would love just to like sit and watch these episodes with you sometimes, Frank, because you catch all the little nuances and stuff that so many others like myself, and when I say so many others, I just mean me, that we miss. And I really do think we should start doing watch-alongs one day. So if anyone else is feeling that, let us know. Maybe we'll start a Patreon or something and do watch-alongs with them.
Yeah,
And
Check me out.
it is interesting to watch the tragedy of her life. Her whole life is a tragedy. When she thinks she's going to settle down some things, like get away from Chinatown, start a new life, and all of this happens. And since when she came from China with her husband, her life is always not, how can I say, quiet.
Right.
That lots of turning points, and this is another one. And yes, definitely she's a survivor. She's one of the bigger fighters in this series.
Yeah, I think Steph's right on the mark with Atoy being her MVP there.
That scene where she's actually putting on her makeup, that and why they actually did that scene the way they did. That's why I have a lot to say about this episode,
Yeah.
because the time they spent on that. This episode is about the women, and that's one thing. So the time they spent watching, having her put on her makeup, it's the transformation, it's the cover up, it's covering up the bruises, all of that. That's a survivor.
I,
That was key. That
yeah.
was key.
Now, just a little I forgot the word. I'm sorry, but in this scene, I don't know if you have the whole scene when the halfway guy is like pulling some girl, and is about to
Lie.
Yeah.
that guy, Jason Lee, is a stunt, and he's the stunt double for Andrew Koji.
Oh,
And
no way.
yeah,
Oh, and I didn't even get a picture of him. I'm sorry. I had that one
hi
too.
Jason.
That's all right though. That's amazing. That's a little behind the scenes. You and Rebecca's the one that always has the like, this is the connection to the show, and this is who this person is in real life in relation there, and that's pretty cool that they got Koji
We
stunt
met
guy in
him,
there.
Stephanie and I.
on the show.
Recently.
Get him on the show.
Get him on the show.
On the show. On the show.
We need to get
Oh,
Sean back too, right?
Yeah, wait till we post a picture of us having, eating with, where were we? What was the Mojo Market?
Nice.
No, it's a hotel that night. I forgot the name now.
Well, it
Well,
was what Mojo Market. Yeah, we're hanging with the stunt guys.
well, Father Zeus here finally got his passport. So,
Yes.
and I'm just saying, one of my invites was to SA. So we should all go. We'll talk about
that. Would be epic.
We'll talk about that.
Hey, sponsors.
So moving on into this episode though, and how just impactful it was. Oh, yes, very, like, congrats to all of them.
Oh, what's up, Studio Comics? Hello.
Studio Comics, headed up by Alfonso Espinosa. Great guy, great comics, and oh my god, a lot of fun. They're not your traditional comics, let's put them that way, but a lot of fun, and one of the truly nice guys out there, though. Like, honestly, one of my favorite people to be around. And thanks for watching, buddy. Yes. We move on from there, and we see Happy Jack having some words for Lee, and I'm sorry, I always forget her name. What's hers as well? Lee's girlfriend. Anyone?
I used to know, now I forgot again.
Yeah, me too. It happens in our age.
Digging into the data bank. Please continue as I find.
But this, but I'm loving this little dichotomy that they have here between the three of them, right? Happy Jack is the brother-in-law of the girl here that none of us can remember her name.
Bill,
So say again.
I'm looking for it.
Oh,
Just as
But
Abigail.
Abigail. Oh my God, you're absolutely right, Abigail. And as soon as you said it, I hear it in Lee's voice as well. And I'm loving that, just kind of how it's all working there, and how Lee originally, when he was working in the bar, he was kind of playing down to Happy Jack. He was submissive almost. And now that he's working as a Secret Service man, he's starting to get that backbone as well, especially when it comes to this woman that he loves. What's everybody else thinking of this? Where's this storyline going for you guys? I'll start off with you, Rebecca.
Oh, first of all, I think Officer Lee is the character that grows most in this episode and so far in this series. Like we haven't seen much change in Assam or Young Jun or Mailing, but Officer Lee just transformed from season 1 and 2 to another thing. He's very important now. He grew a lot, and I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think he's going to be a very important player on this season.
Oh yeah, I agree. Frank, what about this relationship he has though with the Secret Service? What like? How do you think this progresses his career? And do you see him ever going back to the Boston Police?
The Boston Police?
Or the Boston Police?
I don't think he's ever going back.
Thinking Irish. I was thinking Irish and Boston. No, I mean going back to the San Francisco Police.
No, I don't. That's my prediction is that he won't. I think he's going to run up to a point where he has his moral compass come into conflict with what the Secret Service is asking him to do, because Mosley is a cold motherfucker. And eventually they're going to clash, because right now he appreciates Mosley because Mosley's complimenting him, but he has a very strong moral center. I think Tom Weston Jones even talked about that, how his moral compass has gotten him into trouble his whole life, growing up in the South back then, and then becoming a part of the San Francisco Police Department, which is very corrupt. And I think now it's just a matter of time before he runs up against that again. But in the meantime, he's my MVP for this episode because he moves the plot along to later.
Right.
And his deductive reasoning is now being used for evil, right? For lack of a better term in this situation. So he's very, very dangerous for everyone involved in Chinatown. And I think he's going to continue to be more dangerous until he realizes, okay, maybe what I'm figuring out is hurting these people, hurting these shopkeepers, hurting these people getting hit by these ordinances, hurting these people that I'm finding these fake bills on. So maybe at some point, I predict he's going to start to subtly sabotage.
Oh, really? So you think he's going to start to sabotage the Secret Service?
Subtly sabotage, yeah. That's my prediction.
Oh wow, I like it.
He could turn heel completely, but I think if he stays the way he is, he's going to start to do that.
That's interesting. What do you think, Matt? Do you think Lee kind of starts to side with the Hop Way, and like Frank's saying, is he going to sabotage his? Because we're talking about his future as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to be a free man. That's what the Secret Service is offering him.
Lee is going to do what I believe Bill is already doing. Bill is low key trying to help the Hop Way. I mean, you already saw him try to help a toy, and he's already taking payments, trying to keep everything, out of anything that she's dealing with, because he even said, I appreciate what you've done for me, and I'm trying to help you out as best as I can, but there's only so much that I'm able to do before I'm no longer able to protect you anymore. So I think Lee is we're going to get that duo again of Lee and Bill.
Oh yeah.
Like that, and when that happens, chef's kiss, it's going to be so fucking good. But for right now, since Bill seems to be atoning for everything that's, essentially he's fucked up over the past 2 seasons.
Right.
And he's really trying to essentially do good, because you see how conflicted he is already, just be within his own, squad, right? Lee will get to that point. It's now the other way around where, where Bill is trying to get to Lee and Lee Sing. Now Lee's got to have to get to Bill. It's a nice little mirror flip.
There's a moment where they were about to raid the Hopway headquarters, and Bill and Lee are walking side by side. Lee kind of gives him a look like this. It's like, man, this chick is crazy.
Yeah.
He should have.
Robert Carl Ringel says, young June should have spent that fake chop in the pond. I mean, yeah.
I mean, he would have gotten snatched up right away, but maybe flooded there somehow.
Would they have been looking there, though? Because they were looking specifically in Chinatown.
A Chinatown gangster in the pond would not have been
true.
A good idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he had the end like Mai Ling did. He didn't have the same end that Mai Ling did.
Yeah.
And he thought he was being smart, like explaining to us that he was putting the money in the streets so it can mix with the real money, so make it circulate. So he thought he was doing something smart.
Absolutely. And then from there, and we showed here, of course, the Statesman, but here, Steph, I think this is the part you kind of want to talk the most about. And now, do you want to save it for the end?
Yeah, we can wrap it up at the end. Put a pin in this one, but watch this scene very, very carefully.
Yeah,
because this involves the scene from last episode too. So when they first met and they're at that event, right? And Bernard actually makes a comment, about her English, and yours isn't too bad yourself. So they laid this up. They laid up this episode with that last episode. Okay. There was a scene between the two of them when they all met, and the look that he gave Mai Ling said it all in that last episode.
Yeah.
So it led right to this one. Yes, it did. As soon as he saw that she had a brain, you could all of a sudden, there was a look he was giving her. Yeah. We'll put a pin in that until the end, to the later part. Yes.
Well, then we even saw, though, like they start talking business, and then she just starts dropping bills on him, like, well, here,
so again, why I did that video, because they brought in a very important topic in here with those episodes.
For sure,
and they're doing a great job at it. Okay,
I do like how she did come out all baller type, though. And kind of put everybody in the place, showing how much money she actually brings was bringing to the table.
Bernard was salivating. Yeah.
For sure. And then, of course, that brings us to the young love, or the burgeoning love, Assam and the bill maker. I want to give her a cool nickname. She's dropping bills. Matt, what do you think of this romance? You seem to be our resident heartthrob here. What do you?
Fuck?
Oh, man. I was looking for a good segue, and sadly, that's.
I thought you were gonna go the Money Matt route, but yeah, sure, heartthrob.
I was gonna go Money Matt.
Roll those sleeves up, bro.
Roll those sleeves up, bro. Let's
timestamp that. Holy fuck!
Let's see those arms.
Done.
Done. It's already done. Don't you worry.
Oh, son of a
that
bitch.
Is preserved. Bang. Like Bolo's railroad spike.
All right. So what do you say? What are you thinking of this romance, though, Matt?
Natural, I guess. I still can't figure her out entirely, especially just toward. I mean, again, it seems natural, and it seems to be progressing the way that it should, and whatever the case is. I mean, it's not like they're kind of forcing it to happen. So I don't know. I mean, in terms of just the romance part of it, I'm just like, all right, that's cool. Get your sticky, Assam. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. But the key thing that I'm trying to figure out is, how is is it genuine or is
Right.
it not? Like, obviously, like I said, it's progressing as it would and should and did. Clearly, we saw. LOL. But now is it for genuine love, or is it she's just trying to make sure that her end of the pact all works out well, where her family's free and she doesn't have to worry
Right.
about it, because we saw that the slip of the bills. So
Right. Here's my question though with that, and I always wanted to. I wondered it last week, and I wanted to bring it up, but why? Why take that money, especially when young June is just giving it out? You're gonna get it anyways. She could have just been like, "Can you throw me a few extra bills this week or whatever?" Young June is giving it to everybody. He was in the middle of town, just giving it out to everybody.
A woman is not in that position, is not going to put herself out like that and actually say, and ask for it.
But would she even have had to have asked for it? When
Yes.
Young June is giving it to everybody, you don't think he would have been giving it to the person making? Like every time she leaves, that's gangster 101. Here you go. Don't rob me. Here's a little bit of cut, So
Yeah,
I don't know.
see, this is the thing. Her comment: a Chinese woman in America without a skill is either going to be a prostitute or ends up being labeled as one and deported.
Right.
Back to this episode being about the women, because she basically laid it out for him that he wanted to teach my brother. My brother's going to get the business, but I don't mean squat. So I taught myself. And so now they're dependent on her. So there's a whole level of respect that Young Jun now has for her because she dug in.
That's my whole point. He has respect for her. My argument is she wouldn't steal the money because if he's giving money out to everybody, she's going to be the first person. Oh, this looks great. Here's a couple for you.
She's not going to necessarily trust him.
It has nothing to do with whether she trusts him. He is trying to get rid of that money anyways. So he would have. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't make sense.
She's already
to answer specifically that.
She's already getting paid for her services, so to speak. She's getting the money all popped up. Hey, what's up, Brian? But she's already getting her fee. So, but if she's really trying to kind of make sure that her family is free or set or whatever she's getting might not necessarily be enough. And maybe she's thinking like, what if this shit actually goes south? Because it's not like she's always been like, oh, yes, absolutely. You guys are really going to look out for me. And you guys are definitely going to hold up your end of the bargain. And yes, absolutely. Nothing is ever going to get fucked up in this case.
Yeah, because she is always throwing you guys are just gangster shit in their face all the time. Right?
Yeah, so. She doesn't trust them. Just because he may respect her, that doesn't mean she trusts him.
She's looking
You can still see in the way she's looking at him. She's like half an eyeball.
She does have a key thing in common with Assam. In season 2, when Assam was working security for Penny's factory, he said to her, "My ambitions are to go out there and build something on my own." And Yami says the same thing here. She says it's a big West Coast. When she says she's not going back to China and she doesn't want to stay in Chinatown, she said, "I heard there's a lot of space up north, and there are Chinese settlements that later on progress up towards the northern part of the West Coast."
Well, and
smart motherfucker.
They went all the way up.
Intelligence.
Even you look at like Vancouver, though, right? Even Canada, northern Vancouver. So, we got a good question here from Robert. What happens when they get paid for protection in their own fake bills? Because we know Lee can tell what is fake and what's not. Like him in the Secret Service, but can the Hop Way tell if it's fake chop coming back to them?
Good question.
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, I hope, and I'd have to assume that that's something that JT and the rest of the writing staff is going to tackle and thought of. But wow, I didn't really think of that at all. That's a great question.
I think they didn't think about it, but also it doesn't make any difference because he's going to use it as it was real. For them, it's just they just making money to spend. So fake or not fake.
Yeah.
Plus, he did say, I was thinking, I was like, oh, fuck, that was a great question. And then and then I went back. He did say that I'm just going to flood the market with our fake ass money anyway. And then what are we going to get back? We're going to get back real money. So it doesn't matter. So, I mean, to them, he just thinks eventually it'll turn back up as it's all real when it's all said and done.
Unless you're just getting back all the same stuff you're putting in. But yeah.
That is true. But I mean, essentially with enough circulation, it wouldn't. But
Robert,
maybe by the time they come back for protection money, it'll be real again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, either way.
It is kind of showing maybe Young June didn't think things through, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as much as we love Jason and we love the character of Young June, he is not known for his thinking things through. Like that's
no
just
impulse control.
No, not at all. And moving forward as well. Then we got to this this other scene as well, the coffin scene with a toy here, and just all the coffins and one of them being opened and then being shut. And it was, did we recognize anyone there, or was that just some of the random ladies that?
It was the girl that Lai was pulling.
Oh yeah, she got the highlight. The dead girl.
Oh, is that who that was in the coffin?
Which
okay,
could have been maybe Lai's
because of the stunt woman.
Yeah,
she's the Kazakhstanian girl, so I recognize.
Our reception in Brazil.
Doing. There you go.
Reception in Brazil got a little slow there. You're back though. What was that last part that you're saying, Rebecca?
I recognize the stunt woman from both scenes. The one Lai was pulling, and the one in the coffin is the same girl.
Oh, amazing! We need to do a stunt show, like where we just bring on a bunch of the stunt people and just go all out. Because
I love that.
Brett, hello. Where are you?
Brett, Johnny.
Brett.
Hello,
Brett,
Johnny.
Johnny.
Brett.
Johnny.
Brett. Johnny.
Brett, Johnny.
Brett, Johnny.
So we saw the love. We saw love brewing with Assam and right, but we also saw love brewing here with Buckley.
Good for him, man.
Really though, man.
It's hilarious, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It's so interesting how much of my feelings and attitudes have been throughout this season, because as Frank said it best, a lot of these big bads have now been reduced to these pawns in their own, like in these bigger fucking schemes are either they're not aware of yet, or some like where Leary is, where he's working for this cocksucker who is an asshole. Like it's ridiculous. And then you have it's so interesting because Buckley, sorry, Langley is so fucking good, and I'm like, wait, that's not him. It's fucking Buckley. But what's up, Langley? But like you can see like how this completely different side of him that we have not seen in any of the two seasons, and it's a breath of fresh air, honestly, to see something beyond the whole, scheming. And clearly he is, he feels a way about the Chinese and what he's trying to do, and to hold up the old mayor's things and shit like that. But it is a little cool to see that there could be something. And even he's not really comfortable with it, because you can see he's like, yo, what the fuck?
And he's apprehensive. He looks apprehensive.
Yeah. But it's cool to see that extra layer, because that's going to play real later down the road in this season, probably.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I think she's using him.
Yeah, this is what I was going to
He's falling for her, and she's using him.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think he's going to fall on the old woman scheme? Like he's going to fall in love with her, and she's going to
See, I
She's
don't
using him.
know. I have
Yeah.
more faith in that little chemistry thing going on than I do with Assam's. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I don't know that I trust either of them.
That's
But
just
I don't.
now. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's this season. Who do you trust for anything?
That's why you pick a side. That's why the whole fucking
Right.
catchphrase is choose a side. You
Whose
really
side
don't
are you
know.
on?
So there's so much of like, are you with this person? Are you with that person? Are you with this tongue? Are you with that tongue? Are you with this person's morals and values and way of thinking? Are you on this side of it? It's there. You really can't be in the middle. Like there is no Chow in this season, even though there is Chow, but the show is forcing you to kind of be like, yeah, I kind of fucks with that person, or no, I don't like that person at all. It's
And it's funny you say that about Chow, as Robert Carl Ringo chimes in and says, "I choose Chow's side."
he even low key is maneuvering into a side. We just don't know which it is yet.
It looks like, and I've always felt this way. And I know he says he plays the middle, but he may play the middle, but he seems to favor the Hop way. I find, it seems he has a better friendship with them, whereas with the Long Z, it's a business partnership. You know, I think him and Father June went really far back. You know, and
Atoy, for example, which she stays in Hopway's side of the city.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Besides
exactly.
business, I think he has more friendship with the Hopway.
Well, the Hopway are traditionally the side of strength, and it looks like that's shifting though. So I think that keeps that as a mystery when it comes to which side Atoy and Chow are going to ultimately end up on.
But we never see the Long Z. Well, I guess because it's in Hopway territory. I was going to say Ada Toys, but yeah, that would make no sense. But we do see Chow there a lot, but we don't see him in Long Z territory unless he's doing business.
To be fair, Long Z's building its own little army, and the glimpses that we see over on their end of the spectrum, they're just growing.
Growing. Speaking of growing and growing romances on the show, we have another growing romance, and you guys talked about not trusting the ladies here. I don't trust this motherfucker at all. Like this guy right here, I don't know, man. Like, and you leave my boy Hong alone. Like,
Ellie, I'm sorry, man, but your character that you're playing is I don't trust this guy, man.
No,
you fuck up Chen like that, I swear to God.
Like, don't mess with Chen. No, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this relationship? Steph, I'll start with you. Is this a trustworthy relationship, or is this just a passion? You know, just let's be free. Early onset of the hippie movement. And,
right. Drink this,
and let's just get some sticky.
I mean, I think it would be interesting to see, because I think, we need this like love interest for Hong, but we said this, we're not too sure about him. He could be a little sketchy. I mean, think about it. He's had to be a hustler, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's had to hustle. He's obviously a performer, and we've seen him perform. Has that, has he had to really navigate, and is Hong going to get stuck in that? It's something that's going to explode, and Hong's going to be the collateral damage.
Frank, what do you think?
I'm not sure what to make of this whole scene, because the place he takes Hong to, I have no idea what that is. Like, it seems like it's from today. So I have no idea what to make of that. You see him drinking stuff, so don't worry, it'll kick in later. It's like, what's going to kick in later like that? And that you'll be drinking. And this guy getting fellatio in the background while they're having their dance. And it's like, what is going on? It's like, where is this place?
Oh, and private gentlemen's club, private clubs.
San Francisco.
In San Francisco in the 1870s. I don't know. I don't know how it was back then, but
no idea.
I guess it's close enough to where he can kind of go there and back without people wondering where he went. But
true.
I just don't know what to make of it yet. I don't know what this guy's role is supposed to be.
If Hong's heart gets broken, we riot, says Robert. Yeah.
A one-man riot, maybe.
One man riot.
The chain man.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started. I want to see him as the violin man. Don't get all right. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to get started as I normally do. Then we move on to Lee. He and his partner were searching throughout Chinatown. They split up, and Lee goes. He sees a guy coming out of a place where he's getting high. So Lee goes into this place, and we think. I'm fully at this point. I'm like, oh my God, he's falling off the wagon. Mm-hmm. Just when he's about to get his life together, and he's going to be free again. We see he's got the pipe, he's got the match, and he stops at the last second, and we find out it wasn't there for that. He was there there was some money there. What was going through your head at this point, Rebecca? Did you think that Lee was going to fall off the wagon here?
Yes, I completely thought that he was going to be like drugged for hours, days, and miss the whole thing. I really thought that.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone on that at all, Steph.
Oh, I think they did that to us on purpose. I didn't think he was really going to.
No, so you knew it was a play.
I think so. It was suspenseful, but I'm not surprised he held back. I think Rebecca was right. He's grown. And I think that he had, some of those moments, since we last saw him of, got to buck up. And he isn't a cop anymore. He doesn't have that sway. He doesn't have that to sort of protect him. So, right. More of the reality check of you have to clean up your act. So I think that was in the back of it, in that look, if you're not sure if it's going to happen, I think that's what won out.
Well, and I feel like he did have that struggle, right? Like it felt like he was definitely struggling with it because you could see that where he's like, and then he kind of gets that glimpse of the cash, and he's like, okay, I gotta keep my head straight for work, and then kind of got back on board. I kind of like that they went after a drug addiction thing, so because. It's This is entertainment. We love all this stuff, but we also, one of the things that we love about the show is how much it teaches, right? It's teaching us some revised history, but it's also teaching us about plights and things like that. And I love that they're showing, that drug addiction is a thing, and that people will struggle with it, and that they are going to come up against hard times, but that they can overcome. So. I don't know. I maybe it's just me reading too much into it, but or maybe giving too much credit to what's not really there.
That really, no, you're right. That is giving a hint, into think about the people in the opiate epidemic and how people get hooked from injuries.
Oh, true.
And Lee's in pain.
Yes, it was a medicine, then became a drug.
Robert's got a good point here. He says. He wasn't in love the last time he chased the dragon. He has something to lose this time.
Good point.
Good observation. That's true. Never even thought that way. But now that Abigail's in his life, right? Like we know he's willing to fight for her.
Not entirely though, because we've seen in the last couple episodes where he's did a little micro dosing. To kind of
but was he taking the same drug, or was that an actual medication? Because the one episode wasn't she saying like, did you take yours?
Laudanum, wasn't it laudanum or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a medicine that he was actually taking for the pain. Yeah. Because yeah.
I was on the other end. I thought for sure. I was like, oh shit. He's there. There's no escaping, and he keeps looking around like, I think I can do this.
And you never know what it could do. It could be the addiction, or it could be he has taken a lot of headshots too. It could be the concussion just kicking in. So one of the things I love here, and there's a lot of people you don't know who to trust and who not to trust. But one person people really don't trust This is my man Mark DeCasas here. I always count on you guys for giving me the real names again. But I love his character, and I think he's actually quite trustable. I think he's there as a mentor and almost a brother figure. What do you guys think? I'll
I
start with
agree.
Oh, me. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, there you go.
Well, first off, it was really cool to see DeCascos show off his skill. He he's been he's had a lot of bit roles over the years and it's kind of gotten bigger and bigger. But that guy has a traditional Hawaiian / Chinese / West Coast martial arts upbringing. So it was really cool to see that when he was having that moment with Joe Taslim. Even in his late 50s, he still got it.
Yeah.
But for his character, I don't see any reason to not trust him yet. They emphasized that he was honorable at the beginning when he pledged his allegiance to Mylene. That could have been a decoy, but it didn't feel like a decoy. So far, it seems like he could end up. The most I see him becoming evil or sinister, so to speak, is that he might end up as a Buckley type figure to Leon. Except Leon's not useless as the mayor was.
Right.
But he might be the guy kind of behind Leon going, hey, you should be the guy in charge. Like you should maybe try this. Hey, you have these people behind you that if it came down to it, especially since a lot of them used to follow me and I'm your boy, we can probably get our own little side army going. That's where I see that could be going. Like I think Leon might end up leading a bit of a rebel faction within the Longzi with the help of Kompak. Because Kompak already saved his life.
Right.
I feel like he's got right hand man potential to Leon.
He's got Bolo. He's got Bolo vibes.
Well, and now Mylene got arrested, so maybe he will try to take on the Tong, since Leon doesn't feel like he was supposed to be the leader. He's like a fighter. He's a fighter coordinator or something like a Sifu, but he doesn't see himself leading the Tong. So maybe Compact will take this part now that Mylene is out.
Robert says outsourcing hasn't worked well for the LZ. I worry. The Long Z hasn't done too well, but I mean, you look no further if you want any kind of reference to that. Don't forget this guy. Don't forget Zing. And where is he? We know we're gonna see Dustin at some point this season, right?
Maybe. I mean, he does a lot of. He's been directing a lot. He's been doing a lot.
Yeah, he directed one of these earlier episodes. I forget which one, but he did.
A couple of them.
2 and 3.
I think it was last episode.
2 and 3.
That was 2 and 3.
Yeah, and he's great. But we'll see. We'll see. So that brings us. We needed some kind of reckoning for the Davenport fire earlier, right? And so we pick up in court, and now I think she's going to win here for some reason against, the modern day, or I shouldn't say modern day, the then day industrialist for trying to be politician. And what are we calling this guy? What is the big
robber baron? Name? Is the robber baron, right? He's a robber baron.
Yeah, he's a robber baron. What did you think of this scene? I wasn't surprised at all. I didn't expect this to go any other way, honestly. I expected her to lose in court. Steph, what did you think?
No, totally agree. It seems like a very classic scene, It gets taken right out from under her, and you had prostitutes living there.
Right. I forgot about that line. And what a loophole that was.
Yeah, I mean, that brings it so to present day. I mean, not for nothing. There's actually, a friend of mine who has a business. There was someone he was collaborating with. There was a bunch of women for a product, and a rumor went around that he was pimping these women out. There you go. Discredit the business.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a little insane. What about you, Matt? What were you thinking about this court scene? Were you expecting it to go like it went the way I think we all kind of expected it to?
I had a little bit of hope, but that was only just because of how pissed off I was on the whole outcome of it all. And then, once obviously it was leaned into this bastard side, and then, and then finding out a little later on in the episode that, hey, that judge was bought off by this dude. And it's just like, man, there's just no getting around how powerful and how conniving he truly is. And it just goes to show what a big fucking threat this man is.
Yeah.
And I think the only one, and the only ones that kind of really are understanding it is Leary, is Davenport, Atoy, and those are really it for right now. And it sounds like Buckley's going to figure it out sooner or later, because it sounds like he's about to go into the running, which means then I wouldn't be surprised if we literally had everyone from season 1 and 2 versus everyone from season 3.
Man, I don't know how they keep track of all these characters and storylines and be able to weave it together, I should say, so coherently, and it works. And still, each and every week, we're like, okay, did that episode really just end? Like, what the hell? Like, give me more. I feel like Dave Chappelle. You got any more episodes of that?
Do it again, Zeus?
No.
No. But you are correct, though, because the way that this episode ended, and we're not there yet, but the way that this episode ended, all of a sudden the credits start rolling, and I'm looking over and I'm like, wait, that's it? It's done? And it's a good and bad about the show, only because these characters are so fucking well written and fleshed out, and we care so much about a majority of these guys, right?
Thanks to those guys.
And and I would say the only downside about this show, and there really isn't a lot, but I'd say the only thing is that we're no longer able to spend as much time with some of these characters as like we want to, and that's because of how fucking well they're written. But now they're only getting, all of them about 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes here, and it's like,
true.
Like, for me personally, it's kind of fucking frustrating, because I'm like, I want to see more of this one. I want to see more of fucking this one. But I get it, but I said, that's if that's like the only downside about this show, then I'll fucking take it. Because if you really think about it, the pacing of it is, and what they do with as many dominant characters that they have on this show, because it's not like it's just, oh, your main 4 that you always follow, and then you have the rest of them that kind of just hover around and orbit around the main characters. No, every fucking character on this show is a goddamn main character. Yeah. It's wild. It is so crazy that this show has almost like 25 main fucking characters.
It's insane. I don't know. I say it all the time. I'm always giving him more flowers than maybe people think he deserves. But Jonathan Tropper, that's his MO, man. Like,
yep.
After watching Banshee and then watching this,
he will get you.
If you've ever watched the Jason Momoa series C on Apple, he took over, I think, in the 2nd season, and that's where that show just took off. That's just who JT is, and I love Tropper, and I think having Shannon there and Justin Lin on board as well really helps. But Tropper is just a genius, and I know he doesn't write all the episodes or anything like that, but being the showrunner and making sure you have the right writers in your writing room that are writing your vision, I think is so important. And to be able to do that, and like you were saying, Matt, to have a show that has no throwaway characters, because
Zero.
They're all great. Like even Harris, right? like Officer Harris. Like we know the nobodies, you know, and I'm not saying nobodies, but we're knowing the part players. So yeah, it's just such
Jonathan
a great
Tropper
show.
probably make these connections. Like he creates the whole story, what he wants the story to go, and then the writers, make the lines,
Mhm.
write the episodes. But probably the whole idea is created by Jonathan Tropper. Like,
Oh, for sure. He's the Kevin Feige of this show.
I feel like to write a show like this is it's ambitious because of history already being laid out.
Right.
Right? We know what happens in 1882. We know the Exclusion Act passes. We know that a lot of these communities are driven out of their homes. But to make that interesting from the micro with the printing shop all the way up to the macro, which is so far as Strickland, I don't know. Maybe it'll get even bigger
Yeah.
than Strickland, right? Strickland, the guy with the power to just say, "Oh yeah, 40 Irishmen hired. Oh yeah, judge bought off. A state judge in California just bought off like that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hire these henchmen, burn down this vineyard owned by this wealthy woman, right?" So to go from someone at the highest level at the moment, which is Strickland, and maybe that lady behind Buckley's campaign, we don't know about her yet, right? All
Right.
the way down to the idiot kid in the printing shop is, and make them all interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That takes
exactly.
a lot. I don't know where the show's gonna go now. I really don't. It's no longer just a Bruce Lee inspired show.
Right. It's evolved. It
Yeah.
has definitely evolved beyond that, and it makes me wonder: is this show capable of spin-offs, successful spin-offs? And I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah, because you look at stuff like, well, what the hell, Game of Thrones, and I know those are you're doing the prequels with the Ring of Fire or whatever it is. I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I
I've
know
seen
that
one
their
episode.
prequel series did really well,
House
and
of
I
Dragon?
feel like this could do the same thing. Like we could have something where it's I want to just see a Father June's adventures. Like let's see what Perry's doing, conquering the
otherwise,
East. See what a toy, yes. Or if a toy was to make it out of San Francisco, where does she go? Does she and Nellie take all her girls somewhere, and do they relocate and then
or
go
the
through the
beginning,
same problems again?
I'm sorry,
No, no,
to
it's okay.
interrupt. And how did she build her business after the husband died?
Oh, right, exactly. So there's so many stories out there for us to kind of tackle, and yeah, I think that's just
Chow, Chow in Cuba.
Ch- Chow and his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Like I would
yeah,
love to
yeah.
see, I'd love to see more of that. Love to see what's going on with his daughter. But we're getting pretty late in the episode here, so let's kind of oh, I this part we're gonna get to right now. I'm just gonna say, folks, get ready because this scene that happened next in this was very triggering, and I have a feeling Miss Stephanie's going to have some things to say about this. So for Stephanie's moment this week, we're going to be talking about a little, I don't know, a little moment between Mai Ling and her new friends. As we see her business investor, douchebag McDoucherson, try to put a move on her, and she turned him down right away. And it seemed to be whatever. And she said, "We all make mistakes." And you saw that slighted him because he kind of got like "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you saying I made a mistake here?" Look, and then but she did the right thing. But look in the background there, of course, was her new friend as well watching it.
Mm-mm-mm.
And oh yeah, that was not good. Now I'm gonna skip to the end of the episode, but
Yes.
at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
episode, we find out that what is her friend's name there again?
Eliza.
Eliza.
Paddington.
Yeah, Eliza Pennington called the police and had Mai Ling arrested for
Mm.
prostitution.
Mm.
Um,
Hmm. Well, let's go back to what the printing daughter said. Chinese woman in America without skills, she's either a prostitute or ends up being deported as one. So what do you think I have to say about all these? That look, the look from the husband towards Mai Ling last week leads right into this. Okay. So now let's look at this. I call this shiny penny syndrome. This is a pretty new penny syndrome. Shiny things. And it's the wife and the husband. Okay. It's both of them. Okay. The wife, oh, here's this exotic creature. So she's already, Mai Ling is still a commodity to Eliza. She's this showpiece for her friends. And oh, but that's only going to work as long as her man doesn't look at Mai Ling. Okay? Because then that's it. That's it. The fun and games are over now. Okay? And it does not matter that deep down, Eliza knows that it was not Mai Ling's fault. So here you go. This entire saga that just ends in, right here at the end of the scene, at the end of this episode, Mai Ling gets thrown to the wolves.
Yeah.
This is normal. This is so common, folks. And that's why I was so triggered. And that's why I was screaming, because this occurs all the time, all the time. So it's not okay, for an Asian woman to have a brain, because you can see how the reactions happen when she's holding her own. She's right toe to toe with the, as a businesswoman with this banking person, right? His private equity fund, thinking that she's going to go ahead and swoon. This man can do all of this for me. But she's don't sleep on Mai Ling. You try and be shady, she's going to go ahead and clarify. And she has to clarify in a certain way now, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Because she can't say anything inflammatory. So notice how this is how someone like some of us have to engage even to this day. So if that's 145 years ago, all of those behaviors still exist today.
And that's one of the things this show does.
In business.
Yeah. And that's what this show does, is when I was talking about the drugs and talking about some of the other things, they bring today's issues and highlight them from what they could have been like back then as well.
And to summarize, just saying, like, that is what the line that we have to toe. Because number one, if you sexualize yourself, forget it. Then you're a toy. That's it. You're the prostitute. But you still have to be a businesswoman and survive. Okay. So if you even sexualize yourself, now you are a piece of property. Okay. If you have the business brain, it still does not matter. Because as soon as the woman in the room, the woman in the household, the woman that's head of household sees that man looking at you, done. You mean nothing.
Brings the Leon's line.
Yes.
They will never treat us as an equal. An equal. I'm sorry.
And she's not protected. She's not she's not protected out there in the pond.
Well, and now speaking of protection, the police are just going all out now, and Lee traces that money back to the Hopway, and he says, hey, listen, this is going to be where it's at, right? It has to be here. Let's go. So the Secret Service, along with the San Francisco Police Department, head down to Hopway territory, and they start busting heads. And what does he say? Shoot anyone that's running away
in a suit.
Black suits, yeah.
Everyone in a suit.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous for young June and Hong when they went in there at first. I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna Game of Thrones us here? Are we gonna lose someone very important to us, the fans, and to the story itself? And thankfully that didn't happen. Oh, I want to make sure I get this comment here too. Going back to the JT thing, Derek Chin says JT handed the reins to Evan Endicott, Josh Stoddard for much of season 3. Amazing that 3 white guys are doing such a bang up job of telling an immigrant Chinese story. Let me ask you guys about that. As the non-Asian on the show, what is that like? Is it a feeling of pride? Is it a feeling that you have an ally, or is it a feeling of? Is there a feeling of cultural appropriation there?
I think as long as it's respectful and as long as they actually do the research. I mean, I have martial arts teachers who are white. I have martial arts teachers who are black. I have martial arts teachers who are actually that's it. But I have martial arts teachers who are Asian too. But it's more about, okay, do they actually study it? Do they actually study the material? And I'm using martial arts as an example, but did they actually do the research on the material? And it shows that they did in the little details. Because when Toy was mourning over those girls in the coffin, she was holding white flowers.
Right.
White flowers is a Chinese funeral color for people who die young. If they had died old, they would have had yellow flowers. So they pay attention to those small things, which means that they're doing their research and that they probably, I think the lady who played Wang Kea, Rachel Cornwell, right?
Right,
She was
Rachel.
talking about how it was important that they have Chinese writers in the back room. So yeah, they're probably the head writers, and and they're pulling most of the load. But I'm sure they're also doing the research. They're talking to people who are actually of and from those cultures. So it's not appropriation because they're respecting the culture and they're doing the work. You know.
Derek completely agrees with you. He says a feeling that someone outside the culture gets it. Frank is right on.
Yep.
And that's why I call Frank the professor. Yeah, no, this it's something that I always kind of wondered about too. But it's good to hear it. Do you guys kind of all concur with Frank there? Or?
When it makes me scream and cry, it's pain.
You don't like it?
It's pain. No, it's good, meaning it's accurate.
Oh, okay. But but how do you feel about like three white dudes?
Meaning they bring what they bring, and if it brings me to those emotions, they're doing a fucking bang up job.
Well said.
Because that's it. Meaning, why do you think I was screaming in those 3 episodes? Because there is so much that is triggering. Well, and if they did a bad job, it wouldn't have done it. It wouldn't have done it. It literally was like I was living it. There are things that are these ripples of remembrances and just different portions that this is not far removed from some of us, and our immigrant parents. So it really hits home. And if they bring out that reaction in me, that's it. That's it. That's why I'm like this all the time.
Yeah.
It's not just historical accurate. They really can translate our feelings.
Yes.
That's the thing of the show.
I think, and I think when we've talked with a lot of the actors on here, Perry included, that JT was really open to hearing suggestions when it came to writing the script and writing the characters. Like this is how I would feel, or this is how that character would feel. So I would assume that's the same when it comes to things like that, and like getting the colors of the flowers proper for the funeral, right? So yeah, I'm sure the cast has a lot of input as well, which is great. This was triggering for me. This whole scene. I mean, I've never been arrested, but I come from a different town where there's a lot of bikers and stuff. I've been in raids before, and they're not nice. And that whole scene, you could feel, to me, it just brought me back to my youth and being in situations like that and seeing how quickly, like there's always that one over the top cop and then the one voice of reason. What was this scene like for you, Matt? I know, like for me, because I've been in situations like that before, but I'm going to assume you haven't, or maybe you have. But if you haven't, what did that scene mean for you at all? Any emotions?
It was just it goes back to me saying there's a lot of things about this episode that made me cringe, not in a bad way or anything, but right. Like it was the imagery of this it was very disturbing, really hard to watch, and the realism to what it brought and how everything was just depicted and filmed and shot. Like there was no holding back to any of it. And it really created this feeling, depending on, who you are. Like for me personally, like it was the same shit as when, the vineyard got burned down. It was just this fucking rage that I just wanted to just jump through the TV and do something. But again, it's all entertainment, but this isn't. Some of these things that happen, it's not like it's not just fictional. These things happen in real life. Exactly. And it's and it's triggering.
Yeah.
You Steph said it best, and what in order for these acts to happen continuously in this show, to where it always generates this type of feeling from me of something. It garners some type of emotion from me. It's rough. It's fucking rough.
And talking about the emotion, and the emotion just kept ramping up from there, because as we saw Lee and Bill go down to the basement to look for the plates for the counterfeiting, and there was nobody there. And then of course we flashed to outside, and Assam and forgive me, I always forget her name, and I'll get it before the end of the season.
Yummy.
Thank you, Yummy. Are leaving and trying to escape, on the cart with the donkey leading the way, right? A la Jesus of Nazareth. Too soon. But that scene as well you're like, oh my God, are they going to get away? Are they going to get away? And then the song's like, yo, we're not getting away. Just turn left here. And she's like, it's a dead end. We can't get away. And he's like, no, they can't get away.
But she cracks me up because her, little facial expressions and her, wait, what? You got that? I love her.
And so Assam obviously comes out and does the Batman thing, jumping out of nowhere. Assam, by the way, was my MVP of this episode. I know we didn't get a lot of them here, but I just love I'm a sucker for romance stuff, and I love seeing the kind of him softening up to her, right? Even if and he loved that she so almost doesn't care about him, but does, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So really like that. But you saw it in her eyes here. I think this is the moment that she fell in love, where Batman dropped out of the sky and saved her, like kicked the shit out of the Joker's henchman. And now she's smitten. And as they got away, we found that they were very smitten and got a little sticky. Yay!
Always. Assam always has to. I don't know if he's a womanizer or if he
She kissed him. She kissed him. How are you calling him a womanizer? All these women keep coming on to him, and then he hangs.
That's a womanizer. What the fuck?
And on top of that, remember he hangs out at a toys place and doesn't sleep with any of the prostitutes.
Yeah, but I think
because he knows his worth. Zeus.
Exactly. He's not a womanizer. He's just
he swings them nunchucks.
He's romantic. He always has to have someone.
He swings his wood.
What?
Yeah, she said it best. You can swing your wood with such precision. I bet.
But if he has pine tar on those woods, it can get a little sticky. Wow, that was just trying too hard. Trying too hard. Assam is too sexy for his shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is right. He and Wright said Fred. That is a callback. Me and Steph get that one. Matt gets it because he dressed up as one here for Halloween.
Too sexy.
All right.
Sexy.
All right. So, and then that brought us to the end of our episode. overall, another just awesome episode put on by the entire cast and crew here. How many episodes are we getting this season? Is it 10?
I don't think they put out like a list of how many that we're getting. But if we're going to go off the same template, I'm pretty sure 10, 11, something like that.
And Brett, I think, is doing the 6th episode.
Yeah.
I'm calling it now. That is the Father June episode, and they're going to have Rich Ting back. I'm calling it. It's going to be a flashback. I don't think Bolo will be back. I think it's going to be a flashback. I think Bolo's dead. I don't think we're going to get his twin like I always wanted, but I do believe that's going to be that episode, and I think it's going to be a bunch of Bolo fighting in the pits, and then him and Father June's rise to power in Chinatown. That's my call.
Maybe.
Don't maybe me, bitch. No.
Maybe.
All right. So, Matt, who was your MVP? Did you give us your MVP? I feel like we got our MVP from everyone but you and Rebecca.
Yeah. Damn. Man. I got it. This is such a fucking cop out, and I don't care. But everyone was a fucking MVP to this episode. I don't care.
You bet.
Yes.
I'm
sorry. The shit was just so fucking good. Every single person brought it. Like it wasn't. It was so difficult to really just focus on one particular person and be like, yeah, that one person brought it. Everybody in every single fucking person in this episode really moved the pieces along to get the story that we did. And
I think Frank's cat is the MVP right now.
Oh my god! I'm literally talking. All of a sudden, I just
doing like this finger stuff.
Yeah.
What the hell is that thing? Oh fuck! But anyways,
it's Frank's cat's impersonation of an inchworm.
Well, anyways, where the fuck was I? Yes, everybody's just a fucking MVP in this episode. I'm sorry, I gotta cop out, but it was way too hard.
Frank's Taylor showing.
Oh, he is a Saiyan. See, I knew it.
Rebecca, who was your MVP?
Officer Lee.
Officer Lee. All right, so we had 2 for Lee, right?
I had Lee also, yeah.
Yeah, you both had Lee. I had Assam, but I want to give honorable mention to Big Bill, though, because Big Bill was also big in this episode. I mean, he saved young June's life.
I'm calling it now, too, right now. In these 4 episodes, in this stretch so far,
Sharon?
He's like a hidden MVP.
Right? He is so good this season. Like
Bill is a hidden MVP of this season so far. This motherfucker, even though he's only gotten like a few things here and a few things there, and it's just enough to be like, damn, you are putting in this work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is not being showcased enough. Bill in season 3 and overall MVP right now. Currently, he's doing it. He's doing it right now.
See, my runner-up MVP was Young Jun in that scene because his facial expressions and having to take that beating. That was, but also the fact that he warned everyone in the beginning, nice and easy, don't do shit. That's how you're a leader. I mean, he may be immature in other portions and reactive in other portions, but in that moment, no.
Oh, he took that shit. He took that.
And that gave me like Banshee remembrances. I have Banshee PTSD, I'm telling you. Jonathan Tropper, you're amazing. Amazing.
Derek says, remember though, the whole counterfeit story came from Chow's involvement, which is very true. This is all going to come back to Chow. Are we going to lose Chow at some point? I really hope not.
I think
whatever.
Who's a writer on the show too, right? Like he helps writing out as well. So
from Plymouth, Massachusetts.
I think he might.
He needs to be able to impart an ultimate lesson before he goes. I think if we do lose him, it's going to be it's gonna be a bang of some kind.
Yeah.
If they get approved for a fourth season, he's got to be back. Well, they've already wrapped everything, so they'd already have made their mind up. I would have to think that they're assuming that they'd be coming back for at least one more season, and I couldn't see them not bringing Chow back. And then if you are going to kill him, it would be in that final season.
I absolutely.
And it would be an example thing, like probably by Mai Ling or something like that.
I still think he might go this season.
Oh, stop it!
I think he won't go just because it seems like he's based off of so many different historical figures. It'll be just it would feel a little premature.
Yeah,
I do predict that Yami's going to go this season. My prediction is that she's going to be the one that's in the coffin where they all have the hatchets in.
I'm going to say no for one particular reason. Writers these days are very aware of something called fridging. So fridging is a term from comic books. There's this character, the Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner. In one issue, he comes home to find his girlfriend dead and chopped up and stuffed in his refrigerator. And they did it for effect to move his character forward, to give him motivation. So writers nowadays try to avoid killing off characters, especially female characters, that are going to just be used to build up the male characters, kind of their story arc.
Oh, so that's literally where that title came from.
Yeah, that's literally where it came from. It came from a comic book writer named Gail Simone, and she's very, very against that. Yeah, so that's why I don't think it'll be her. Hoon is captivating. They better not. Yeah.
From Plymouth, Massachusetts.
If Hoon goes, we're all blaming Matt, so don't worry about that, Robert.
Can you imagine if he just did, some special edition episode, side shoot from Banshee of just Job? Just Job. Just Job.
Why would you have to mention that when I just got rid of that picture too? I didn't have enough room. Oh yeah, it's such a good show.
Like what was it? What was the show? What's it? I can't remember that. But instead of just Jack, just Job.
Just Job. Let's do it though. We just did it here, folks. 2 people arrested this episode.
The head of the Tongs.
The 2 heads of the Tongs are in jail together.
But we don't know. Oh, yeah, we'll be together probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they'll be in the local jail. They're not going to be in a prison quite yet, right?
Well, we know at least one of them's getting out.
I don't know. Do you think they form some kind of alliance? Do you think Mai Ling tries to talk to him about an alliance?
Well, in the trailer, they literally say, I want to broker peace.
Right.
So it's inevitable at this point.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I don't know. All I know is every week I'm just going, again? You did it again? How? How is this not the #1 show on TV? What I do love, though, is when it first came out, season 3, and the first 3 episodes came out, after the first day, it was rated at 100% on Rotten Tomato. I know it's lowered since then, but the first day it was 100% critics and audience. Both scores 100%. That's how good this show is. So thank you, JT. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Justin Lin. I mean, and this cast, it's just too good. As I mentioned earlier, Father Zeus here. Oh, we lost Steph. Steph is back though. Oh, she's back. We lost her.
I mean, we can play peekaboo really quick. I mean, whatever we do.
I do have my passport now though, and we did mention about maybe South Africa sometime. But it would be interesting to go to San Francisco though. All of us. I don't know if Rebecca can make the trip. That's far for Rebecca, but I mean,
oh my goodness.
I'd love to check out the Golden Gate Bridge and Chinatown, and I mean,
we should do that. If we all did that, that'd be awesome.
Go check out, Go be where Bruce Lee was.
And
Just
Derek,
putting it out
Derek
there.
has a friend who has
The tour, right?
a tour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Derek's got. Oh well, Derek, you can. Derek says, "Hell yes, come to us. Come to San Fran." All right, but if we come, it's going to be during basketball season. You're bringing us to a Dubs game.
Yes, please.
We'll give you the whole tour. Love it. I love it. I love
Absolutely.
I want to know the best duck places, Derek. Like to eat duck, not the show's duck.
it. I was just going to say, wait, what?
Bring me to all the duck places now. I want to swim in the
Ooh.
pond too.
But isn't that pop?
I love it. I love it. And then the last thing, and this is, if we're going to be in San Francisco, Oaktown area, I need to see MC Hammer.
What? Why?
MC Hammer and the
I'm
Old
just
Town
gonna-
crew.
I'm just
MC
gonna
Hammer, that's where he's from.
I'm just gonna eat the good food and talk to the people.
I'll talk to the people too. Just trying to make a connection. All right, whatever. Bring me to the Full House.
Drumstick, hammer time. Yeah, I'm trying to help you out here.
Thanks. Oh, I gotcha. I'm a little late. And this is me. I can't help you there, Zeus. Yeah, trust me. Therapists have been trying to help me for years. Nobody can help. No. Anyways, that's a good note to go out on. What do you think? Last dad joke of the day. Folks, we gave you our MVPs of the show. I hope you had a great time. We had a lot of viewers this week as well. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget though, if you don't get a chance to tune in with us live, there are other ways to watch after the show's been on the air. Just ask our boy Money Matt here. Matt, what do they got to do?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
Hit him, Jack.
Just so you know that every Monday we are on YouTube. Our official YouTube channel is the Hop This Way Show, where we put the full episodes that we secretly put out live in the internet. And then we put them actually on YouTube where you can actually watch it and, enjoy our company and voices and our opinions. And if not, well, tough shit. And if for some reason you are busy and you just don't have the hour plus time to watch our beautiful fucking faces, well, then you can listen to our beautiful fucking voices on podcast form, where you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and now new Google Podcast and Amazon Music. Yes, we've expanded because we're fucking cool. And it's all thanks to you guys for being fans and, getting it up farther than we ever thought it could. So yeah, just so you know, there is
DWSS.
What did I spell wrong?
Nothing.
Oh.
I think me and Stephanie had the same thought.
Oh, all right. I'm like, did I make a spelling error? Did that really quick.
No, that wasn't you that time.
Oh, that was me.
That
Oh,
time.
All right,
oh, that's fine. We'll talk about it after.
yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's the
That's-
spiel. And then of course you can, follow us on all of our social medias, the Hop This Way Show, and we can just update you on everything. So do what you're supposed to do, please and thanks.
Give us the follows, give us the shares, and give us the likes, because that all helps with the analytics. We talked maybe a little bit of maybe setting up a Patreon of some sort where we can do some extra stuff for some of our top fans.
And maybe some merch.
We got maybe some merch on the way as well. That's a nice shirt you're wearing, by the way, Matt. That's a beauty shirt.
Oh, this pretty thing.
You can't tell. Look at that. No, I meant with the banner going down, but that is a beauty. And yeah, I mean, there you might be seeing some shirts like that and others out there for you. And all in the cause of helping us out so we can put out a better show for you and help pay for some of this here, because some of it's a little expensive. But yeah, we have lots of love for you guys, and I hope you guys had a great time. I'll send my address. That almost sounded like a threat.
I'm gonna spam your shit. No, I'm kidding.
You may regret that, Robert. Anyways, though, guys, this was a lot of fun. I hope you all had a great time. For Stephanie, for Matt, for Rebecca, for Frank over there, and for myself, Zeus. We all want to say we love you. We hope you had a good time. And as always,
We never get it right.
no, we don't.
Let's get some
That was our best
Sticky.
Let's Get Some Sticky ever. We love you
Sticky.
guys.